Derek Carr left and Marcus Mariota are both listed as questionable heading into their Week 6 matchups. Getty Images 2. Every time we see a Justice League trailer, we get the same feeling, oh boy, this is going to stink. We also know I'll be there opening night. If you read this column regularly, you know the Madman is a huge fan of the Batman. It's a weakness, a blind spot that, even if it doesn't obscure the reality of awfulness to come, it makes us ignore it when making our ticket-buying decisions. Thank goodness we don't let such blind preferences cloud our fantasy judgment. Otherwise, we might run with Derek Carr or Marcus Mariota this week simply because that is what we normally would do, because we like those guys as fantasy quarterback options, even if the fantasy results this season have been more Batman v Superman than The Dark Knight. Mariota is an easy choice. He is questionable, so you can't guarantee he will play. Fantasy owners should sit him. Don't play him this week. Buy a ticket to a different movie. First, he is a QB whose legs provide a big boost to his fantasy value, and he is coming off a hamstring issue. This could limit his mobility, which is a big knock to his potential fantasy production. Also, though it is a prime matchup against a weak Colts defense, it comes on Monday night. So if you wait to make a decision on Mariota, you have one pivot option: Jacoby Brissett, because playing Matt Castle is not a reasonable alternative. So if you're going to ignore the terrible trailer and see this bad flick anyway, make sure you have added Brissett beforehand, otherwise you could get a big donut at the QB spot if Mariota sits, and we prefer popcorn to donuts, even during bad films. Carr is a bit of an easier decision because he will play Sunday. But remember, neither Carr nor Mariota was lighting it up before getting hurt. In Carr's case, his back injury initially was diagnosed as a 26-week issue. He missed 1 week. That certainly makes us think whatever we were getting out of Carr before his transverse process fracture, we can expect less than that. So just do the smarter thing: don't even sweat Carr or Mariota, just bench them. Start a player with better upside and less risk instead. Even if you wouldn't normally, go with Matthew Stafford, Kirk Cousins, Jameis Winston, Phillip Rivers or Alex Smith instead. We even would play struggling Ben Roethlisberger, in a bad matchup, on the road, instead of waiting until Monday for Mariota. Don't wait around for a bad movie just because you like the characters. Make a reasonable decision. Don't let Mariota and Carr become your own fantasy Justice League. Big weeks: Jacoby Brissett, QB, Colts, at Titans, FanDuel $6,800, DraftKings $5,800. In what can become a common theme, QBs who face Tennessee are usable to stream in seasonal. Cheap ones like Brissett make solid GPP option. Elijah McGuire, Paul J. Barriswell. Elijah McGuire RB, Jets, vs. Patriots, FD $5,700, DK $4,600. Bilal Powell is dealing with a calf injury. Regular starter Matt Forte is expected back from a toe injury. McGuire is most healthy and explosive. Extra touches if no Powell against generous run defense. Terrell Pryor Sr. WR, Redskins, vs. 49ers, FD $6,800, DK $5,700. Waiting for him to click with QB Kirk Cousins. Perhaps a bye week and soft matchup with 49ers will deliver that fantasy package. Ryan Griffin, Texans, vs. Browns, FD $4,500, DK $4,000. Browns are weaker defending pass and interior than outside receivers. With QB Deshaun Watson rolling, expecting Spike and Griffin targets. Small weeks: Alex Smith, QB, Chiefs, vs. Steelers, FD $7,500, DK $6,400. We like him over maybes like Derek Carr and Marcus Mariota, but that's not saying much. Steelers have been much stronger versus the pass than the run, and Chiefs have pretty good RB they can lean on. Carlos Hyde RB, 49ers, at Redskins, FD $6,700, DK $6,200. Coach Kyle Shanahan suggested the 49ers will go with the hot hand at RB. Though Hyde appears to be a superior runner to Matt Breida, sometimes common sense doesn't win out. Sammy Watkins, WR, Rams, at Jaguars, FD $6,700, DK $4,100. One total catch over the past 2 weeks. The Jags haven't allowed a wide receiver TD since week 1. Not the week Watkins gets off the schneid. Jared Cook, Raiders, at Chargers, FD $5,400, DK $3,700. With EJ Manuel or a gimpy Carr, don't like what Cook can offer here. Chargers are third zingist versus tight ends. The decision post fantasy madman Drew Loftus and Roto Rage Jared Wilk debate whom you should start this week: Doug Martin and Jerick McKinnon. App Getty Images. Doug Martin vs. Jerick McKinnon. Drew Martin. This isn't a decision based on matchup as much as it is talent and dependable workload. Martin returned to his feature-role status immediately upon his return from suspension last week. Even against a stout run defense like the Cardinals, prefer the more talented RB with the greater volume. Was surprised at how much work McKinnon got last week, but expect to see more Latavius Murray this week. Jared McKinnon. McKinnon may not be the number one back for the Vikings. He saw more action than the plodding Murray, 47 snaps to 22 for Murray. As far as the Packers' defense, after allowing just 53 yards to the Seahawks in Week 1, they have allowed more than 100 yards to opposing running backs every week since. They have allowed the 11th most rushing yards in the league, 607, the most plays of 20-plus yards and 3 receiving TDs to RBs. McKinnon is a spark plug, and will get his touches. Last week drew 13.2 Hunter Henry, 342 receiving, 1 TD, Jared 0 Evan Engram, no reception season Drew lead series, 32 tweet of the week Roethlisberger trying to even out his home-road splits by also sucking at home. Jack Spit Drew Loftus at night post. Loftus October 8, 2017 Week 6 Streaming D's Falcons, Rams, Cardinals, Packers.